Hello, I'm Maxwell Neal. I'm a professional artist, photographer, framer and restorer. I also teach adults art privately and have 7 classes a week at Winthorpe. And in conjunction with that, I also hold workshops and demonstrations locally for groups and other people. This is my studio. It's a very nice space and I like working in here. This was a garage at the end of our garden, which was built probably in the 1940s, 1950s, which I converted 6 years ago, adding more windows, insulation, etc. As you come in, you will see most of the work, or all of the work in fact, in here is mine. It'll either be original or limited edition prints. I'll start with these here. This is a ploughing picture, limited edition print taken from an original oil, done for the Newark Vintage Tractor Fair held at the Newark Showground. As we come down, this is another ploughing picture, again limited edition print taken from an original oil. And below that we have views of Howcable Gardens. These are limited edition prints taken from watercolours. Howcable Gardens are in Herefordshire. We used to visit them quite frequently. A beautiful place. As we come down here, this is a sunrise at Mosquito. I did a lot of sunrise sunset pictures about a year ago. This is the fishermen's houses in Mosquito. This is a view of sunrise at Cap de Favorites. Come up. This is another view of Cap de Favorites sunset, original watercolour, both of them. Watercolour, sunrise, Mosquito, original watercolour, and finally above that a sketch of the two below. Down here we have a view of one of the old buildings in Ciudadela in Menorca. As we come round we have lighthouse at Cap de Favorites in Menorca, and finally the beach in Mosquito. This is my desk. This is where I work most of the time, standing up. Either that here or at an easel. On my desk at the moment, what I'm working on at the moment is a pastel drawing of Skelliff Bridge in the Lake District. What we do is this is actually for a workshop, we undercoat the drawing with thin acrylic in various colours to suit the picture, which is like putting lots of different coloured watercolour pastel papers together, which means that we don't have to do quite so much work when we're actually blocking in. Behind that is a seated nude, pen and watercolour. Behind that a view of North Wales in watercolour. Come across, this is a view of Breaking Waves in Mosquito. This was a workshop using acrylic and palette knife. And below that another pastel done in a similar kind of way as I've just explained. This is a portrait of my wife, Susie. This is done in charcoal. Charcoal is a very nice medium if you're sketching, but to do an actual finished drawing with charcoal is actually quite difficult, quite demanding. But nevertheless, I like the end effect of that. As we come down, this is a pastel drawing. This was another workshop, light on dark. There's the lilies, obviously. This is the original pastel. And across here we have a pen and watercolour. This is in North Yorkshire, near Huddersfield and Castle Hill. And we come up, this is tulips. This is again acrylic with palette knife. In the background we have some pencil portraits, one of myself, one of my son Toby. This is an unfinished watercolour of my son William, and again slightly almost unfinished winter scene. Behind that we have another picture that was done for a workshop. This is again acrylic with palette knife. This is a swan. I'm very fond of swans, they're my favourite birds. Up here we have a portrait of my wife doing sanguine. I used to do a lot of sanguine portraits in the 90s. Then we have a series of Spanish dancer prints. These were all taken from original oil paintings. This is a view of the beach again in Mosquito. So we come down, this is a portrait of my son William when he was a year old, and my sister-in-law Joanna. As we come down here, you'll see there's again a charcoal sketch of a Spanish dancer done for a painting which I did later. And this is actually one of my latest paintings. This is a Black Swan. This is an original watercolour. As we come round, this is another swan. This is a limited edition print taken from this time from an oil painting. As we come across, this is the sort of third in the series of the Spanish dancers. This is a limited edition print taken from the original oil. Then we have a mule. This is an original watercolour. Again, one of my more recent paintings. I particularly like this painting. She's got quite a sad look on her face. As we come up, this is it was a commission, the Black Cat, which this is a limited edition print taken from that original. And then we have Hair. This is print taken from an original pastel pencil. Here we have pen and watercolour. This is Venice. This was again another workshop. Below that, an original pastel pencil. Hair with Leverett. Below that, Barnell pastel pencil original. And we have a portrait of one of my previous dogs, Georgie, my beautiful boy. This was done in watercolour. And finally, as we come round, this is a view of Lincoln Cathedral. I spent many years working up here in this area, doing drawings and selling prints to the tourists, 22 years in all. This is where I think I learnt my kind of trade, if you like, in terms of, or skill, in terms of depicting buildings and the kind of detail required. I consider this to be an illustration, not a painting. It has a kind of stillness about it, no life. This is just showing, you know, what this place looks like. This is above. This is a print which is taken from another original, similar, which is the kind of thing I used to sell. And then finally down below we have a view of Lincoln Castle, taken from the cathedral. This again was done all on site. It took about 100 hours, both of them, original watercolour and pen. And that's it for my tour of the studio. I hope that next year, once the virus has finally disappeared, hopefully, you might be able to come and visit me in person. But for the moment, I will be working in my studio from 10 till 5 every weekend through May, and including the bank holiday. And you can phone me and talk to me on FaceTime using this number 07802 758 430. But in the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed my tour of the studio, of my studio. Look after yourself and stay safe. And thank you for watching this. Goodbye.